everybody. Welcome into the GC Roundup presented by Clint Hammond of the Mortgage Network, where we keep you up to speed on everything you need to know in Gamecock Nation. I'm your host, Kendall Smith, and on this week's show, Shane Beamer weighs in on the ECU game, and will Luke Doty start at quarterback for the Gamecocks? We'll talk about that along with what happened the last time South Carolina played ECU, all on today's show of the GC Roundup, so stick with us. We'll kick off today's show with some good news Gamecocks. On Tuesday afternoon, Luke Doty spoke with the media and gave them an update on his foot injury. Check out what he had to say.
But my foot's feeling better. Each and every single day. I'm doing a bunch of rehab, a bunch of running on it, and it's just trying to make sure that I'm at a good point physically, to I can make a full return and really feel good on it. Yeah, just feel confident in running again, and I definitely think I've got that confidence back.
Now, who on earth will start at quarterback for the South Carolina Gamecocks on Saturday? This quarterback situation all season long has been keeping us on our toes. Will it be Zeb Noland once again, or will Luke Doty be ready to rock and roll on Saturday following his foot injury? Well, head coach Shane Beamer said the decision won't be made until game day. Here's what he had to say.
Hey, Shane, it's Dave. Looking at your quarterback situation this week, when Luke is fully healthy, how does this go? Is this going to be a fully open competition? Does Luke get credit for what he did in the past? And how will this go choosing between him, Zeb, or anybody else for Saturday?
We'll see. I'm not going to get into naming who our quarterback is before we get up to East Carolina on Saturday. We'll see how the practice goes. Again, I'm not putting Luke Doty out there before he is ready.
And just to clarify, did you say you don't plan to name a starter before Saturday at quarterback?
Don't know why I would. I'm sure Coach Houston would love that, and he knows. He's got to get ready for Decarion Joyner, and they've got to get ready for Luke Doty and Zeb, and we do a lot of different things offensively, so no.
Now the good news Gamecock segment is the gift that keeps on giving. We have some more good news for you. Running back Kevin Harris will be back in action this Saturday for the Gamecocks against ECU. Here's what Coach Beamer had to say about Harris and his state heading into week 2.
Do you guys have a plan to manage Kevin's workload on Saturday?
Yeah, good question. We haven't talked about it. It's actually on my, as soon as I walk out of here and I walk in there with the offensive staff, it's on my to-do list, one of the things that we need to discuss in that meeting, because we first of all, we haven't been told any kind of limit on his work. Kevin will have a role on Saturday, but it's not like all of a sudden Kevin Harris is back and those guys are just kicked to the curb. There's some dynamic running backs in that room, Kevin included, and competition's a core value of this program, and we're competing at every.
Now, I'm not a betting gal, but I am going to call out Circus Sports because they have ECU favored by 4 points over South Carolina for this weekend's game, and I have to say that's pretty rude, but other books don't necessarily have it the same way. A lot of flip-flopping back and forth as to who is favored to win this game on Saturday. But this weekend's game will be a measuring stick game for the Gamecocks. We'll see how well they compete against ECU and how that will translate possibly into SEC play, beginning with a very tough SEC test in week 3 against the Georgia Bulldogs. You can check out that article along with more on GamecockCentral.com. You don't want to miss out on any of our content. We bring it to you better than anywhere across the Columbia and State area. So subscribe today on GamecockCentral.com. Now, in honor of Throwback Thursday, we'll throw it back to the last time South Carolina took on the ECU Pirates, and that was in 2016 at Williams-Brice Stadium as South Carolina defeated ECU with a final score of 20-15. But head coach Shane Beamer says it's going to be a test this week in that ECU environment. Well, it can get rowdy. Here's what he had to say in his Tuesday press conference.
The team that we expect to see Saturday, and I know we'll see, is the same one that has beaten the University of North Carolina 3 times since 2013. The same one that's beaten NC State 2 times since 2013. The same one that's beaten Virginia Tech 2 times since 2014. I've been to every stadium in the Big 12. I've been to every stadium in the ACC, and the atmosphere at East Carolina is a whole lot better than a lot of the places I went in those conferences.
Speaking of South Carolina and winning, The women's soccer team is on a roll, taking down Charlotte on Monday with a final score of 4-1. And tonight they'll head to the upstate of South Carolina to take on the team that shall not be named at 7 o'clock p.m. on the ACC network. Here's what head coach Kendall Smith had to say on Monday following their win over Charlotte.
But I thought we came out really well in the beginning. Obviously, scoring early goals is what you want to do, and we talked about to the team about 2-0 can be a dangerous lead, and can't rest on that. And I thought we stopped working a little bit, stopped playing, and Charlotte did a great job all night to put a lot of pressure on us. The
South Carolina men's soccer team, though, has struggled to start off their season. They currently hold a 1-3 record and suffered a loss to Presbyterian on Tuesday night with a final score of 2-1. They'll take on Coastal Carolina on Saturday night at 7 o'clock p.m. at Stone Stadium. Here's what head coach Tony Annan had to say following the Presbyterian loss on Tuesday.
Obviously another disappointing defeat at home in front of a great crowd again. That's all.
Another South Carolina team, though, is doing pretty darn well, and that is the volleyball team. They went 3-0 last weekend in the Palmetto Showdown, boasting 2 wins over UCF and a win over that team from the upstate. They'll take on Kennesaw State tonight on the road at 7 o'clock p.m. Here's what Tom Mendoza had to say about last week's win over UCF.
Yeah, but I love the resiliency and to battle a good team when they were certainly playing a lot better and kind of go back and forth like that was exciting. And they exactly what we were expecting out of UCF and what we were hoping to get. It's also, like you mentioned, it's the SEC. This is what we're gonna see in conference, where we play a team twice, back-to-back days, and so that was the lesson for our team as well. As let's learn.
That's gonna do it for me on this week's edition of the GC Roundup, presented by Clint Hammond of the Mortgage Network. Now, all of my friends watching this from home, I am from Charlotte, North Carolina, so I have a lot of friends that go to ECU. All I have to say is game on, baby. You want me to make a prediction because you want this video to blow up in my face if something bad happens to South Carolina on Saturday. Let's hope that doesn't happen. I'm not going to do that. All I'm going to say is good luck. I'm really excited for Saturday. It's definitely going to be a great matchup between South Carolina and ECU. But to anybody watching, you make a prediction. Tell me who you think is going to win on Saturday, South Carolina or ECU. Let me know what you think about the quarterback situation. Who will we see starting for the Gamecocks? And what do you think about the running back situation? A ton of depth in that room, so we'll see who gets the start on Saturday for South Carolina as well. But to stay up to date on everything you need to know on the Gamecocks, be sure to subscribe to GamecockCentral.com. You don't want to miss it, and you also don't want to miss a brand new pregame show that myself and Wes Mitchell are hosting. It's a great one. We don't really have a name for it yet. We called it the Game Day Chat last week. I'm still trying to beg Wes to let us call it Before the Sandstorm. We had a couple people actually request that as well, so shout out to you if you recommended that name. But that's going to do it for this week's edition of the GC Roundup, where we keep you up to date on everything you need to know in Gamecock Nation. It's week 2, baby. Let's get it for the Gamecocks, and I'll see ya in just a couple of days. Bye, everybody.